Are you one of the 75% of contractors whose financial statements are inaccurate? Find out. Click on the link in the show notes and you'll get a free P&L and balance sheet check.
This is Contractor Sense with Ruth King.
Welcome to Contractor Sense. Here you discover ideas, tactics, news, and information that matters to your contracting business and you. I'm your host, Ruth King. This episode is sponsored by Financially Fit Business. Make your financial statements come alive. Stay financially healthy this year. Go to www.financiallyfit.business and get started today. Thank you for joining us. Here is how we will help your business and you. What if you had zero turnover? That's right, zero turnover. My guest today, Dylan Milroy, has achieved this feat. And yes, it is a feat, in my opinion, because so few companies ever achieve it. When this happens, your customers notice it and they get comfortable with the people they have taking care of them. This leads to higher customer satisfaction, referrals, and more profit. Dylan is the owner and operator of Better Basements and Waterproofing. He'll tell you what he's doing to achieve zero turnover and how you can apply his process to your business. Dylan, welcome to Contractor Sense.
Hi, thanks for having me.
And I promise we'll talk about something other than zero turnover too. Okay.
That's fine. I'm happy to speak to it.
Yeah. I mean,
At
it's
length.
so unusual that happens. I mean, it means well, I'm not going to put words in your mouth. Go for it. How do you make that happen?
It's kind of, that's probably the same way that I would say that I've become a pretty good home service salesman, is I just simply started asking them questions, like what what are you looking for, and what are you looking for in your career, and then obviously being extremely particular about who you hire is the most important thing. And by zero turnover, we mean not that people don't get fired, because that happens, but people don't quit.
Right. I mean, the reality is that if somebody's not doing their job, I call it my career readjustment program. How's that? I don't like calling it firing.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I kind of get a little bizarre about some of my hiring practices. I don't think it's bizarre, but it's like if you're starting out a job, first off, we pay quite a bit above industry average. But if you're working, for $26 an hour, are you gonna want to? How long are you gonna be able to drive for, 30 minutes, 40 minutes? So without feeling discouraged. So just having people work more or less in the town that we are in is I think another key to the success of having such a low turnover rate.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, when you are starting in business, a lot of times people will just grab a customer wherever it is, even if the customer is an hour away. But forget it. You're right. Who wants to drive an hour? Unless you're in Atlanta in the middle of traffic on 285 on Friday afternoon when
Yeah.
you don't have a choice.
Yeah. Well, yeah, totally. Well, that is a good sales tactic, but I mean for like employees, like I require them to live in the area, like within, 10 minutes or so before we even take an interview with them. Um, but it's difficult because that means you have to have a big pool. So, I would say that we're really good at fielding these high level employees. I'm pretty decent at writing some good copy and painting some vision, which is really important for labor jobs. People they don't want to feel like they're just a laborer. So painting some vision for them, and then you get a big pool of people, and now you can select the cream of the crop out of those people.
Yeah, you're also in an area where you can have a larger pool.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was talking to one of my friends a couple weeks ago about this, and I'll get 100. I just posted a job yesterday. We're trying to hire three guys, and I'll get 100 applicants in 10 hours, 12 hours.
And he probably gets two, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, yeah, getting the right applicant is one thing, but keeping them here is another thing. And to keep people here is, we're constantly painting them vision, making sure they realize that my dreams for this business and for my family has enough room for their dreams too, for their own. Um, yeah.
So talk to me about their first day. You've hired them. They agree to come to work,
Uh-huh.
and it's their first day on the job.
Uh-huh.
What does that look like?
They generally will get informed of, the bonus program. So we have some pretty good bonus programs where if you get a review and a customer puts their name in it, then they get a bonus. And the more they get, then the higher those get. We have guys getting, 500 bucks a paycheck in bonuses sometimes. Um, they'll also get a boot reimbursement, so $150 towards steel toe boots. th- they'll also get, informed on health insurance and employer contributions towards stuff like that. But more importantly, it's really big on vision and values for the business. So just making sure they realize that, yes, this is a construction company, but uh, our brand is that we are very professional and that we have a high level of customer satisfaction.
So, do you get into what they want to do? I mean, if somebody gets a $500 bonus every week, do they go blow it? Or what do they do with it?
That's fine if they want to, not my money. No, it's important. So you have to go back to, you have to make sure, you're not hiring. I always, someone quoted me once, and now it's kind of a thing, is that I say you just can't hire losers. So, um, I'm pretty particular about who we hire. And we're pretty quick, to let people go. And it's not like, you're walking on pins and needles, but the first day you can really the first week or couple weeks you can really tell someone's character and if they're gonna fit in, you know, with everyone. And when you have everyone who works here, they're just really nice guys, very professional. They're not there to haze people. They're not there to make the new guy do, all the heavy lifting. Then you're gonna
And the
you're gonna have, you're gonna just have an excellent work environment. um it's I fired a guy because he wouldn't stop cursing on the job, and it's like, and someone said something like, hey, Dylan wants us to be PG-13 on the job, so can you stop? And he kind of like rolled his eyes, and well, he got fired. you
well,
know
he went through your career readjustment program.
Yeah, exactly. And he'd been there, and it was great, because he actually was a pretty high performer, and he'd been there, 3 weeks or so, and he was shaping up to do really well. And when we let him go, I told everyone, like, hey, you see, like, look at this. This is how important culture is to me. And it was like, if you can't respect people's homes, while there's kids here, and you can't, follow these very basic rules, then it's fine. There's plenty of construction companies where talking like a sailor is a job requirement. So it's not like he won't find a job.
No, I'm sure he will. It's
Yeah.
just the question, he's not going to be working at your company.
Yeah, for sure. He won't. He
So,
definitely won't.
all right, before we take a break, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, how do they do it?
Well, if you want to get in touch with me personally, LinkedIn, my personal LinkedIn is going to be the best.
Okay.
Probably one of the only ways, to be honest.
Okay.
My
That,
assistant has a Chinese wall. She's very good at it.
very good. Okay. Sounds good. We will be right back. Thanks for listening to Contractor Sense.
Imagine you had total freedom. You didn't have to worry about money. You didn't have to be a slave to your business. The words, I can't, are eliminated from your vocabulary. What if you could do what you want to do, whenever you want to do it? A financially fit business could give you that freedom. How? By knowing what your financial statements are telling you and taking action based on what they say. You can do this in less than 10 minutes a month, at an investment of less than taking your family out to dinner once a month. And if your financial statements are a mess, you can get help. Go to www.financiallyfit.business or click on the QR code below to get started today.
We're back. Thanks for listening to Contractor Sense. I'm talking with Dylan Milroy, who has zero turnover. That's right, zero turnover in his Better Basements and Waterproofing company. And part of that, as we found out before the break, is because he's very particular in hiring. And if you don't meet the culture, even if you're doing really well, you're going through his career readjustment program. Did I get it right?
Yes, I like that. I'm going to start using that term.
So, all right, I promised you after the break we could talk about some other things that work really well at your company rather than just having zero turnover. So, the floor is yours.
Ah, well, I'm kind of uncomfortable getting the praise for having zero turnover because really the only reason is that I just go out of my way to try to be the stupidest person in a room, just really surround myself uh, by guys. I have an incredible coach and business coach, and then I have, you know, just like not hiring losers. I just try my best to surround myself with winners.
And that's important. It
Yeah,
really and truly is important.
yeah, you need to be what's that saying? You're like the average of I don't know.
Of the 5 people you meet with every day or something.
Huge difference, and we made it as a value, always seeking. So we're always looking for outside help or constantly trying to improve. And when you have a business that more or less the day-to-day operates without my existence, it's you could easily fall asleep at the wheel. But if you're always trying to improve, then you're always growing, you're always improving your product, and everyone's life gets easier and more profitable for that matter.
And you also have the KPIs in place so that you can be not there,
Yeah,
right?
I mean that is key. I mean, it is nuts when I have, friends who are 3, 4 times the revenue of me, and they're not doing stuff that I would deem as like low hanging fruit, like cash flow forecasting and stuff. You're like, what? How do you even survive? Like that's all I look at all day.
Well, you have to look at that. You have to look at number of billable hours. You have to look at a lot of things to make sure that the company stays profitable and continues to grow in the right direction.
Yeah, and you don't need to I'm not a super genius. I didn't create all these Excel sheets. I didn't create all these
Mm.
formulas. I just,
You don't have to. You just have to use them.
exactly. And you just need to pay someone to give them to you and to teach you how to use it.
Yeah.
You just need to constantly be finding where the bottleneck is. So I mean, I've kind of got addicted to paying for education. It's a cheat code. I mean, you can pay someone for their time and be boosted ahead, 6 months in a couple days. It's pretty cool and it's pretty fun.
Yeah, and as long as you're hiring the right people, you're fine. So how do you find the right coaches?
Well, I went through I've been blessed to not really have anyone where I have like there's some horror stories out there that are very warranted. And I think that it seems like the coaching world is going through some growing pains. But I hired Les O'Hara. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's incredible. And he has a long track record of helping entrepreneurs grow uh, to that next level. He himself went to that next level. And what was important for me was finding someone who agreed, with my values. And he's got his sons still work for him. He's still married. He lives a very honorable life. And I was like, you can't just be
Like
seeking,
that.
yeah, you can't just be seeking that big revenue. So there's other things more important that influence that sort of stuff. So if we see the world the same way, we're gonna work together very well.
Got it. All right, so that's there. Now, when with your employees, do you have them set vision boards or what they want to do with their bonuses at all, or is it just strictly where the business is going?
No, I have a hard time with that kind of stuff. I had a friend, another person kind of be like, well, you talk about being employee focused, but I don't see, he was kind of being aggressive about it. He's like, I don't see you doing like employee of the month, all these posts about employees. I'm like, look, man, these guys, these are construction workers at the end of the day, and you know what they want? They want to make sure they're paid on time. They want to feel appreciated, and they also want to make sure they're not going to be running a jackhammer, through their 40s. They don't they don't care about being employee of the month. They want to make sure that they're able to live a comfortable life and feel fulfilled by their work because it is important work. Um, so it's tough. I don't think that would go very far for us. But what I do is, and what I learned from having great managers and bosses in the past is to I make sure that not every phone call is just work related. I make sure that I have that, that relational stewardship, to be able to give them criticism, and you need to have those points. So essentially, you just can't just stop being a jerk.
Or jerk with compassion. How's that?
Yeah, exactly. People say I'm a jerk. I'm like, "Oh, whatever." Well, you know what? People people seem to like to work for me, so I don't know what that says.
Well, you're very clear about what the expectations are. You're customer focused, and if they don't meet the expectations, they know they're not going to be there. I mean, what more can you ask? You
Yeah,
treat them well.
exactly. Yeah, and what you said is a big thing of mine. Our expectations are extremely clear. There's no gray area. And then on top of that, if we do think there's gray area, um, we ask, or if there's a mistake, we try to figure out what it was. And then we're always trying to give them the tools to succeed. Always. So you can't just tell someone, to give you the world, but you don't give them, the budget to do so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You don't say, okay, this is your goals, and then you don't give them the tools to reach their goals. I mean, that
absolutely.
doesn't work.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And
yeah. So,
you can't know that if you don't ask them. So, you just simply ask them, what their goals are, and then see how that can help, So I had a guy a couple months ago who seemed like he was getting uneasy, like he was having a bad attitude. So just called him and had a long conversation with him, and he felt like he didn't know if there was going to be a position for him. He didn't see like what management positions there were for him, and it was just like, and it was my failure. There's a miscommunic. It wasn't even a miscommunication. There was no communication on where he was going and how he could fit into that. And now it's great. He felt way better after that.
well, good. I'm glad. All right. So, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, LinkedIn, right?
Yeah, LinkedIn's gonna be the best way.
All right, Dylan. Thank you so much for being with us.
My pleasure. Thank you for thinking of me.
All right, and thanks to all of you for joining us. Choose one thing that you discovered and implement it in your business. These ideas, tactics, and strategies help you make more money, have more free time, and give back. If you like today's program, spread the word. Please review this podcast on any device you're listening to it on. Help a fellow contractor make more money too. For comments or questions, call me at 770-729-0258 or email Ruth King at hvacchannel.tv. Thanks for listening. Have a great and profitable day.
Great.